Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent. Welcome back to Forgotten Realms Explained. Today I'd like to talk about orcs. Orcs are found in most fantasy genres, and it is no different with Dungeons & Dragons, so today's video will dive into the lore and history of this monstrous race. Orcs are not native to Toril. They were brought to Faerun through portals from other planes or worlds. I couldn't find any information on their homeworld. It is likely that at this point not even the orcs remember where they came from. The first migration occurred many thousands of years ago through portals built by the creator races. They were possibly brought over as a slave workforce, but the feral orcs proved difficult to tame. They became busy with infighting and warring against one another. Thousands of years later, the infighting continued despite the fall of the creator races, and other races such as elves paid little attention to this savage race. It wasn't until negative 3,800 DR that the orcs of the north finally coalesced into strong tribes. 200 years after that occurred, orc leaders started to appear. Orc leaders that could organize this violent horde to attack other races. It was in negative 3,605 that the first orc invasion occurred, attacking the Netheril and destroying much of their towns and villages until a combined effort from the Netherese and elves turned them back. The creator races were not the only ones to open portals, bringing orcs to Faerun. In negative 1081, some Mulhorandi wizards opened a portal to the orcs' homeworld and outpoured thousands. This started the Orc Gate Wars and is considered the single greatest time of havoc inflicted on Faerun by the orc race. The orc clerics had an ability to call upon direct avatars of their deities, which they used to overwhelm their enemies. The Mulhoran and Unther also called upon avatars in a battle of the gods that scarred the land. The Untheric pantheon was slain by the avatars of the orc gods, but eventually the combined efforts of the Untheric and Mulhorandi forces were able to defeat the orc deities. They were finally stopped in negative 1069 DR, resulting in orcs migrating everywhere across Faerun. Orcs are aggressive humanoids that live in tribes. They will band together with other orcs and goblins, even trolls and ogres, to hunt and conquer. They believe they must expand their territory in order to survive. This puts them in near constant state of war with the other races of Faerun as they battle over land. Warfare infuses every aspect of orc society. They raid and attack, and during the downtime they train and build weapons. Often found dwelling in caves as they are more easily defendable, and orcs are not one to build towns. They instead live in nomadic tents and villages. It is, however, common for orcs to live in a ruined fortress they have taken over, either through force or happenstance. Women in orc society are looked poorly upon, despite the fact that they can fight and kill just as readily as male orcs. Most female orcs that garner respect have become shamans or spellcasters, preying on the fear the males have of this unknown art. Slavery is also common in orc tribes. Due to the poor treatment of slaves, most do not survive very long. Orcs aren't invested in keeping them useful and healthy. The orc deity Grummish fought the elven deity Corellon and lost his eye in battle. Orcs don't openly admit this occurred, however Grummish does have one eye and is known as the unblinking god of destruction. Because of this insulting battle, orcs hate elves most of all and will kill them on sight. Grummish demands his followers to raid, kill, and conquer, as well as gather and breed to increase their numbers. It is possibly this calling that is the strongest in orc nature, resulting in orcs successfully breeding with a number of creatures, dwarves and humans, possibly other creatures that result in generically named half-orcs. But ogres have bred with orcs, creating monsters known as ogrillions. Because of their half-breed nature, half-orcs are usually smarter than regular orcs and have the potential to become chieftains in orc society, leading a horde of orcs against their enemies. Half-orcs could really be part of either world, staying with the orc tribes or rejecting that evil nature and attempting to fit in with civilized society. It is an uphill battle when interacting with other races. Most are quick to assume that orcish blood carries with it aggression, savagery, and cruelty. Orcs may rip an eye out to become more in tune with their deity Grummish. This often occurs as a sacrifice when presenting an offering of a dead elf. Removing the eye can grant the orc spellcasting abilities and special favor with Grummish. There are plenty of subraces of orcs, but here are some of the main ones. Mountain orcs are the most common orc subrace and the first to come through the portals of the creator races. They can be found throughout most of Faerun, but the majority of them are in the north and the spine of the world. They can be 7 feet tall or more and have bestial heads with red eyes. All mountain orcs share a savage vision of destroying the civilized world and inheriting it for orc kind. But despite this, the greatest hurdle they face is their inability to band together. Too much infighting between the tribes. The Grey Orcs come from the Mulhorandi portals and spread out from that area. They are of the eastern lands concentrated around the Moon Sea and Endless Wastes. They are vicious and evil, but lack the mountain orc drive to enslave and conquer. They are nomads who travel migratory routes between established campsites, and they stay in smallish tribes of 30 to 50 and will war with other gray orcs for resources. They view other orc tribes with jealousy and suspicion. The Orog, or Deep Orc, are the Underdark variants of orcs. They look similar to large mountain orcs, but their ears are larger and their eyes are huge and pale. They have actually learned to craft armor from the strange ores found in the Underdark and will wear full plate mail and other armor. Descended from a tribe of orcs that made their way into the Underdark, the world below hardened and shaped them into killing machines. Although living in the Underdark for generations, they have pushed back to the surface and have taken positions of leadership within the mountain orc tribes. Smarter, stronger, and more deadly than your average orc, they stepped into roles of leadership quickly and easily. And that's it for today. I want to play a one-eyed orc cleric of Grummish. I'm trying to figure out how that would work if I give myself disadvantage on perception checks. It would be a different style of cleric, maybe the war domain to melee it up in battle. Thanks to my patrons on Patreon that keep these videos going. If you'd like to join our little community, click the link in the description. And if you're new here, please subscribe. There's new videos on D&D lore every week. And thanks again for liking and sharing these videos with your gaming group. I will see you all in the next one.